much for hosting one of your meetings here at Wilson. We're always glad to show it off, and thanks everybody for coming. Start off just a couple of interesting things about Wilson. We are the home James Garner is an alumni of Wilson Elementary, so that was kind of fun for us to look back on this year with his passing. We got school T-shirts this year that say Wilson Elementary, where legends are born, with a picture of James Garner on it. So that was fun, maybe more so for the adults, but we took pride in the building, but had a lot of fun with that. Since he is an alumni, you probably figured we've been around a while, and you probably saw that looking at the building. But Wilson actually opened in 1919. James Garner came back to a celebration, the 85th celebration, I think it was. Some of you have been around Wilson longer than I have.
It was before us.
I don't know.
Even, so, yeah, but anyway, so yeah, Wilson's been around a while, and you can probably tell, beautiful old red brick building. Having said that, the district's doing a great job keeping up the facilities. If you have time afterwards, feel free to walk by on the north side of the building. We have 7 brand new classrooms, a brand new cafeteria over there. So they're taking really good care of keeping it up. And then the last thing I wanted to do is just brag on my PTA a little bit. Catherine and Carrie and Jill are here tonight. And I think one of the best things PTA has done over the past couple of years is to get more parents involved, and actually more parents than ever taking initiative in what's going on here at Wilson. Catherine, our president, has done a great job of delegating, having other parents set up committees. So we've done things like artist programs, fall carnival, jog-a-thon, box tops, just a lot of different parents involved in a lot of different things, and I think it's got more people involved and made it more sustainable, and they're doing a fantastic job, so I wanted to brag on them.
Yeah, I would love to give Wilson a round of applause. You guys did a great job. And Anna King has arrived. And that's perfect timing. Anna King is the immediate past president of Oklahoma PTA and a current National PTA Board of Directors member. So it's really cool that Oklahoma is represented on a national level, and it is an honor to have Anna doing it for us. So I was prepared to jump ahead. Do you want me to give you some time to settle and switch them, or do you want to jump into this? Do you want to do this? All right, Anna's going to take it away. So she's going to head to work after this, and then after that we'll have short officer reports and some announcements. So thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to focus on how to have elections. This is about that time. And she's going to have...
You hand these out?
I would love to.
Okay, because I'm going to hand these out because I have a history book. Today is Founders Day. We became 118 years old. Yay! So, whoever is the winner of this, I will get your address and send you a history book of National PTA. Okay? Okay, so, Bria, are you going to be my handy person and punch the little slides?
I would love to. Wait, here, you take over with that.
How many of you guys have elections due this year? Okay, everybody. Ooh. All right, are you excited?
Yes.
Yes. Did you find your replacement?
Yes.
Yes. Say yes. We found our replacements. That is one thing that you should always remember as an officer of PTA. Any position that you find, you are there to find your replacement. As soon as you step in that role, you learn what you can, and you seek and find parents to replace you. So this association can keep moving on forward for 118 more years. You're not landed, and you're not guaranteed to stay in that role forever, even though we do have some people. That is the very first rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. As soon as you say, I do, I pledge, I'm the treasurer, president, secretary, VP, whatever, it is your position to find somebody. Okay? Outside of your immediate group. Step outside the box. Find a dad. Thank you for being here, by the way. You guys rock. Okay? A grandmother, an aunt, an uncle, somebody that completely has no idea who you are. Because if you can reach a person that has no idea who you are, and you teach them what PTA is about and why they should be involved, guess what happens? They do the same thing. It trickles down. Okay? Okay. Bylaws. We have uniform bylaws. So everybody in here has the same bylaws. Okay? There is something in there inside of the bylaws, an article. see here, with the officers and the elections. Officer qualifications, month of the election meeting. They're inside of your standing rules. Terms of office and a nominating committee. Okay, so the month of the election is in your standing rules. Those are your meat and potatoes of your PTA. How many of you knew that? Oh, you're doing so good. Good. Your term of office is also inside of those standing rules. How many have a one-year term? How many of you have a two-year term?
Council has a 2-year term.
Council has a two-year term. Okay. That's good. 2-year terms are really good. If you can get a 1-year term, that's great, but 2 years are even better. Do you guys know why 2 years are better? Don't raise your hands all at once.
Kind of figure out what you're doing.
Right. It takes you a year to completely figure out what you're doing. And if you are in that role for 1 year and you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to find your replacement, that means that they have to start all over again. See? Okay. So that could be something to think about. There's no pressure at all. I'm not telling you to sign away in blood to get 2 years, but it's a great idea to think about when you move on with your elections for next year's officers. Okay? Nominating committee. Elected person standing rules prior to the election by the unit. Okay. Now, I don't know how you guys have it in your standing rules. Each standing rule is different. How's your nominating committee chosen? You should have that in your standing rules. Is it board members that choose that nominating, the slate of officers? I would make a suggestion, get somebody outside of the group, the immediate group. The president can never be on the nominating committee, okay? A principal is good because the principal knows all of the parents inside of the school. Yay! A teacher and parents. You just think about getting a community leader. How many community groups are around your school? Just get them in the process to get them engaged inside the school. You want to think outside of the box, okay? That committee, once they're together, will elect a chair. You want to have a nominating committee for 3 or 5 people on the committee. It always needs to be an odd number, okay? That group will pick a chair, and they would have a discussion and deliberations about who they find to be interested and ready to go to be in the positions of the officers. Okay? Note here again, the president is not a member of this committee. It serves until the election is completed. So what that nominating committee will do is they'll get together. Okay? This nominating committee, if it's in your standing rules, should be voted on by your membership 30 days prior to an election. Okay? And the reason why is because this nominating committee is going to get together. They're going to get the slate of officers put together. And that slate needs to be presented 30 days before the next meeting where the meeting is elected. So, if you are having your elections in March, you're kind of behind the 8 ball right now, but you can still do it. But rule of thumb, I'm going to keep saying rule of thumb because I like that saying. You know? Okay? Good practice is always 30 days prior. The slate of officers should be presented 30 days prior to the meeting of the election. Okay. Deliberations. Review requirements and duties of each elected position. That's very important. You don't want to put a person in the treasurer position that can't count because they're dealing with your money. And if they can't have 2 + 2, that is an issue. President, very important to know. That person should be engaging, okay? Fun, lively, like Miss Bria here. You should be able to go inside of a room and talk to anybody because you are the face of the parents inside of the school. That is very important to know. If you can find a person that has some kind of nonprofit experience, that's good to know. If you know somebody that has a little bit of information about advocacy, that's great to know. Just don't pick somebody there because it needs to be done. I've been in that position where you're voluntoed, okay? And nobody else raised their hand and you're looking around and you're like, really? Okay, I'll do it. And then you're stuck not knowing nothing. You want to find somebody that can bring something to your PTA to make it bigger and stronger than what you did. Okay? Determine the skills needed for each position. We talked about that. Review membership lists. How many of you have a membership list? How many of you in here know who your members are of your PTA? Okay, so who's the president? Who are the presidents in here? Okay, so you should know every one of those parents, right? Correct?
Close to it.
Close to it, right?
Trying to.
Trying to. See, that's an honest answer. Thank you. Now, if you're engaged in the school, they know who you are. Correct?
Yeah, usually they'll know me even if I don't know them because my name is on the newsletter or the emails or the Facebook that's going out. So they'll say, okay, you know, if I introduce myself, they'll say, I already know who you are, but I want to know who they are. So I
Right.
make sure that I go up and introduce myself.
Well, good. Good for you. See, that's a good leader trait. Good for you. Everybody should be doing that, regardless if you're a president or not. Because if you are a secretary, you're just as important as the president. If you're a treasurer, you're just as important. If you're a VP, you are that president's shadow. So you should know everybody just like the president does. Okay? Okay. When that groups get together, they will identify, once again, I love this, knowing who your membership list is. You will list the skills in the set. You will have a sheet of paper or electronically, however you decide to do, of the positions. You should have a small description of what that is. A person should know what they're running for. Because if you say president, you have no job description, that can be intimidating and scary. So if you list it, the president does, and list it so they are aware of it, then this committee will get that piece of paper electronically or paper-wise. They will get together and meet, how many times that the group decides with the meetings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you have that many great people running for office, oh my God, wouldn't it be awesome? And then they would select the best candidate and they would present it at the next board meeting, okay? Candidate qualifications. Review the bylaws, you will know what they are, enthusiastic and supportive of PTA. First and foremost, they must be a member of your PTA. If they are not a member of your PTA, they cannot run for office. Okay? Knowledgeable about role of PTA in school and community. Well, you'll have some parents that have no idea what you do. That's why that job description is very important. And that is your opportunity to talk to people about this is what we do. And why it's important that we have you. Because we want to work very well with you. Dependable and willing to devote time and serve. Special skills, knowledge, experience. Any and everything that you can find in these parents. Because there are some parents that sit behind closed doors and you have no idea. Some of them are accountants. Some of them are attorneys. Some of them are even doctors. And they'll just pay you membership and that's done. I've done what I was supposed to do. I've paid you membership and asked me to do nothing else. But they should. They should be engaged. And why should they be engaged? Do any of you know why they should be engaged with your PTA? Don't raise your hands all at once. I just pick you out.
So they know what's going on?
Know what's going on what? Inside what?
At their children's school.
At their kids' school. What else?
They probably have something valuable to contribute to the group,
Right.
especially if they're an accountant or not an attorney. You might have a question, they might have an answer for it. So it's always good to know who does what.
Every parent has a say-so inside of that school. Regardless of wherever they come from, wherever they live, who they are, the color of their skin, they have a say-so. So they should get the buy-in, and it's your job to sell it. Now, if you're asking parents just for money, you're going to chase me away because I'm on a budget. I have 10 kids at home and I work 2 jobs. I really can't do all that stuff you're doing. But if you show me and you actually really want me there, you never know the qualifications that I could bring to help this PTSA or PTA. Okay? Contacting candidates. The chairman, after the committee meets, they will pick a chair. As soon as they meet for the very first time, somebody will lift their brave hand and say, I will be the chair. Or they will deliberate on who can be the chair. Okay? They will contact the candidates during the committee meetings. Clearly define the responsibilities of the position. Once again, that is the job description that you will be putting with each one of those positions. Include expected representation at council and the district PTA meetings. That's very important that your officers know that you have a council. the council, connected with the state, connected to national. Okay? Because what tends to happen, I'm a prime example of it, is when you become a member or an officer of a PTA and you have no idea who the rest of these people are, it becomes a little bit overwhelming when you find out. And you're like, or you can get like me, get upset and be like, well, why didn't I know any of this? That was huge. I could have used that 10 years ago. See? It's your job to make sure that they know everything up front and they're not blindsided. Do not try to persuade reluctant individuals. Oh my gosh, that's so important. If somebody says no, no means no, right? If they don't want to do it, they can't do it. They have a reason why they can't do it. And sometimes we can be overbearing because we want everybody to get the buy-in and see why it's so important what they do, what we do. We don't want to scare them away from PTA completely. Get back to the individuals after the committee has made its decision. Okay. Nominating committee report. It has to be signed by all committee members. The chairman reads at association meeting and a report gets mailed to its members. Okay, so this is how this goes. After they sign it, they pick the slate. They say, our job is done, here we go. The chairman will read at the next meeting who the slate of officers are. And before that, it says mail to the members. However you connect with your membership, via email, via newsletter, here are the slate of officers. It should be posted at the school. Everybody should know who your members are. Because trust and believe me, there is one PTA savvy person in every school. And if they don't see it, they could become the green weed that comes out and cause havoc because you didn't follow the rules. Okay? 30 days before each meeting. Election of officers. You should know what your bylaws and your standing rules say. You should know the month and the day of the elections. Who can vote? Who can vote at elections? Members, right? Any member can vote. Nominations from the floor. So that's interesting because the president will say, the chair of the nominating committee will present the slate of officers. So this chair will come up and say, here are the names for the president, blah, 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 blah. And then that chair will look at the president and say, Madam President, Sir President, this is what the committee has chosen for the slate of officers. The president then will say, okay, so we're going to take nominations from the floor. Each position has to have something run from the floor. Okay? You can do a ballot vote when you have nominations from the floor. So if I think I can be a better president, if I stand up and say, I think I can do a better job, I wouldn't say it like that, but I would stand up and say, me, I think I can do a great job. Then it would be the responsibility of the president to say, we're going to do a ballot vote. And then the president will pick some people, hopefully 3, to count the ballots. Okay? And after each one of those ballots are counted for each position, somebody should say, I motion that we destroy the ballots. That's very important. And that should be in your minutes when it's done. Okay? Make sure that you have a quorum. Make sure that you have your membership list. No proxy votes. If they're not there, they can't vote. Okay? Good. Meeting procedures. The president will preside. They will do the new business. They will do the nominating committee chairman, the slate of officers. The president will then restate the slate and ask each one of the individuals to stand. Hopefully the committee will make sure, the chair will make sure that those people that are slated will be at the meeting. And then the president will conduct election. Nominations from the floor will be, once again, at the meeting after the slate is read. Election by voice vote. One nominee for an office. Ballot dispensed with. Is there any objection to this procedure? Ask for ayes or no votes. Restate names and officers of individuals elected. That's a whole lot right there in a mouthful. Right? Would you agree? You can only have one person running from the office, and then you'll have 2, 3, possibly 4 sometimes run from the floor. That's the ballot vote. And you take the vote. Go ahead. No, you're good. Okay. Election by ballot. Any member may request ballot vote. Must be voted upon without debate. Okay? So the president would say, we're going to do a ballot vote. Do I have any discussion? Does anyone disagree with the ballot vote? I'm going to tell you why the ballot votes are good. Because if I stand up as a person that runs from the floor, which I have done, okay, it's very nerve-wracking because I didn't get chosen for this position. So if I'm standing up and spilling my guts and trying to sell myself to you, I would hate to stand in front of you guys and you guys raise your hands and I'm not voted in. It's intimidating. Ballot votes are really good. And then there are some people that might want to vote the other way but don't feel comfortable because they're hanging around somebody, or they don't want their friends to feel like they're not voting for them, but they're trying to vote for the best person for the position. 2 or more nominees. The president appoints the teller. Verify members' eligibility for vote. That's your membership list. You should make sure when you're having an election that membership list is present. What is a very good thing to do is to have colored cards. The voting members get a red card. The non-voting members get a green card. That way you will know who is able to vote and who isn't able to vote. Okay? Just kind of fluff that up a little bit. Distribute ballots. Somebody other than the president will make sure that each person gets a ballot. And there should be a ballot for each vote if there's anybody running from the floor. So that means 4, possibly 5 times that you could do a ballot vote. If anybody runs. Huh?
And come with enough ballots, because
Yes.
sometimes you think, oh, that slate's going to pass, and then you're scrambling to tear up pieces of paper for an election. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Presiding officer may vote at the same time as other officers. So if I'm the president, I can vote as well. Okay? Because sometimes that president will be the decision maker if there's a tie. And that's what I've always tried to teach people. As a president, you have the right to vote. I didn't vote because I wanted the membership to vote. If I needed to, then I would cast if there was a tie or anything like that. Tellers. President should appoint before the meeting. Nominees cannot be tellers. So the people running for positions can be the tellers. Names announced just before time of elections should be chosen for honesty, accuracy, neutrality, and dependability. Tellers. And another rule of thumb, if you have a friend that is running for one of these positions and it's in a very controversial election, or you have a lot of people wanting to run for it, and you know that you are a friend with one of the nominees, recluse yourself from that. Just good thumb rule. Okay. So the tellers will distribute, collect, and count all of the ballots. They will count the House for total number of eligible votes. It should match what you have on your membership list. The ballot voting continues until one nominee receives a majority of vote cast. And why they say that is because last year at National Convention, we had 3 people running for treasurer. 3. And it was very interesting that every time we voted 5 times. Every time we voted, there was always 2 that had the same amounts of votes for each other. So eventually, we voted one out, and we had to go all those times to finally get one nominee for that position. Tellers report. Nominating committee chairman reports results to the president in writing. Okay, this is important because this information will go in your minutes. All of this information will go in your minutes. The number eligible to vote, number of votes cast, number needed to be elected, number received by each candidate, number of illegal ballots. This is an official document. Your minutes are your official documents. That is the business of your PTA. They are official documents. So this information should be in there. And I'm pretty sure Bria doesn't have any problems with making sure that you guys get this PowerPoint after, so you can have this information to be ready, okay? President announces the results. Secretary records results in the minutes. Nominate committee, chairman moves to destroy ballot. Very important, has to go in your minutes, that the nominating committee chairman, the one that presented the slate, moves to destroy the ballots.
So could you destroy by just throwing it away, or do you have to shred it, or?
Yes.
So
The best thing to do right then is as soon as they vote and say yes, get over there in that committee that counted it, the teller, get over there and rip them all up. And just rip them, and throw them away. Okay? Good. Simple. Anybody have any questions about that? None. Okay. So, how do you pick the committee? How's the committee chosen?
Group of people from your school, not just parents, others, representatives of the school, like partners.
Teachers, principals, parents. In your standing rules, it tells you how your nominating committee is chosen. If it says the board is the committee, then you should know this information out of your standing rules. If it says that you elect members from your membership, you should know that. You should already know that way before you go in. Do you know how your nominating committee is chosen? Okay. Do you know?
I'm pretty sure in ours it said, the second one that you said.
From the membership.
From
You're
the
chosen
membership,
from the membership.
yes.
Okay, that is important to know. Okay, so the next question that I'm going to ask you: how's the nominating committee chosen? How many people do you put on this nominating committee?
Has to be at least 3.
At least 3.
Odd number.
No more than 5. Odd number. Absolutely. Okay. How many times does the nominating committee meet? As many times as they want. Okay, if you can have the meeting at one time and you present and you guys go over and you have your discussion and get it done and over with, you can do that. Okay? Yes.
And one of your slides, it said you call the people during the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it means? Like, so you might have to have more meetings if you can't get hold of everybody.
Right.
But it has to be done during the meeting.
Absolutely. Okay?
And the president is not on the nominating committee, but are they, usually like a lot of people would normally come to the president and say, I'm interested in, can we, I know we can't be on the committee, but can we be any part of the process of telling the nominating committee, these are the people that are interested in, does that make sense?
You can direct them to the chair.
Okay.
Because it's your task. Whoever the nominating committee is after they chose the chair, you should know that as president. That person, that is very important to know, that chair says, I'm the chair, and you get their contact information. So if anybody does come to you, you can say, you know what, we have a nominating chair, this person's name is, and I will make sure that your information gets to them. Here's a nomination form.
I know that Reagan one year had a box in the office where people could drop off their nomination forms. So after they'd selected the committee, then they had 30 days, and they announced that, hey, we're accepting nominations, drop them off in the office. And so that gave something for the committee to go off of.
I think with us, I mean, of course, we're a big school at Roosevelt, but we don't have a lot of parents that want to be officers. So I don't think we've ever had an instance where 3 people have run for treasurer. I mean, it's really hard to find anybody that even wants to be treasurer. And once you find that person, you really have to talk them into it. So I think it's, the process, I like how we need to set it up. I think it's just trying to figure out how to make that happen without the president being involved. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times I think it's like the president is kind of talking to the next person that they think is interested in being president, and then it kind of goes from there. We don't have as many parents that.
So is your question, could the president nominate people themselves?
Well, I know they can't. They can't nominate, but can they just relay the information? Like, somebody's interested.
No, you as a member of that PTA can nominate. You can say, I nominate, and put their name in the slate.
You just can't decide
You just
on
can't
the slate.
decide.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm interested to know other schools. I'm in your boat. I've been in PTA at Monroe for, 8 years, and I don't think we've ever had anybody run against each other. Has any other school?
We did once. It was.
Yeah, you did, because I was at that meeting when you did at Reagan.
Yeah.
You did. Okay, well, that's interesting.
What position was it for?
I think it was actually treasurer.
Last year was
See, that was
treasurer.
That was
No, yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about nerve-wracking elections. Have Anna watching you do
Oh,
a.
no.
Oh God! Someone's running. I can't do a voice vote. Yeah.
Friendships.
People were pitted against each other.
I think it would be a good problem to have more than one
Yes.
person. I think it'd be great.
Except when the president isn't there because she's at home with the baby, and she hears about it secondhand and is like, oh my gosh.
She was voluntold. Not volunteer, she was voluntold. See, that's what happens when you don't show up to a meeting. You get signed up for stuff. Okay, are there any more questions?
Well, I have a question for clarification.
Yes.
So we've got our slate. We go to the meeting. The chairman of the committee reads the slate, and then you have to go office by office, correct?
Yes.
You'd say the slated officer is for secretary is so and so.
Yes.
Do we have any nominations from the floor? And if they say no, then you can do a voice vote.
Right. Now, the president can do this. This is the slate of officers and name some. Okay? Do we have anybody wanting to run from the floor for any of these positions? Okay? Do it again. Is there anybody wanting to run from the floor for any of these positions? Okay. Since there are none, then we're going to take a raise your hand or I vote and then move forward. Okay? And if anybody stands up and says that, then yes. Now, what I usually have done as a president being in that role, I've read the job description when we're in the meeting because some of the parents had no idea. So I could say the president does, the vice president does, the secretary does, the treasurer does. These are the job descriptions of each one of these roles. Or I could have it printed down on a piece of paper so when they come in, they can read it for themselves. So I don't have to disturb my meeting anymore and get them out on time.
That is a good idea.
Okay? And then you say, are there anybody running from the floor? All of you were handed a job description of each one of the positions when you came into the room. Seeing none, then you vote on the slate of officers that are presented.
Now, if someone says they are running, can you do just the ballot vote for that position, or do you have to go line by line? Okay.
No. So if somebody says, I want to run for secretary, okay, thank you. Bless your soul for wanting to run from the floor. Can you come up here and stand in the front? Okay? Are there anybody else wanting to run from the floor for any other positions? Okay, seeing none. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the secretary from the slate of officers, and we're going to vote on this slate here as written, as pronounced, and then we're going to vote on the secretary with a ballot vote. Do I have any disagreement from doing a ballot vote for the position of secretary? Okay? Okay. How many days prior to the meeting should the slate be presented?
30.
30 days. Thank you. So that means the nominating committee should be voted on because your nominating committee, inside of your standing rules, it tells you when your nominating committee is chosen. So you should know your standing rules. Please, I'm going to stress that again. That is so important because those are the rules and regulations that you follow with your PTA. Okay? So if I know that my nominating slate is selected in March, that is a task for me to get on because at that next meeting, I need to present that. We need a nominating committee chosen at this meeting to move forward to have the elections in May.
When is everybody's elections?
April.
April, May,
May.
April, May. So April, May. What about Reagan?
May.
Or May.
May.
Ours are in May as well.
Okay. You're a one-year term or a two-year term?
We were 1 year, but we switched to 2. The council switched to 2
Yeah, so
to
did I.
align with
State.
state.
Wow, and national.
Yeah. So
Good. That 2 years is bomb. It works. Yes. Great.
How does this all change if instead of electing a vice president, you're electing a president-elect?
Okay.
So, for instance, your four officers are president-elect, secretary-treasurer.
Well, that president-elect will become a vice president as well.
For that term, but then
Yes.
follow-on terms.
Then they
you're not electing a
automatically
president.
become the president. That is a good thing about having a president-elect, because if you are a one-year term, you can find somebody and they can do everything you do for a whole year. So when they come into that position, they know what to do.
Is that always the same thing as the vice president, or can it be different?
It can be different. Okay, because the president, if you don't have anything in your standing rules that says the president-elect does, okay, and you don't have a VP, then that president can say, I would like for you to be the VP of membership. Right now, we don't have a membership chair. And I think, that would be something good for you to do. Okay?
But then in follow-on years, you're only electing 3 officers every time after that.
If you have a president-elect.
If you have a president-elect, yes. Because you'll have that president in that term. Right.
That's a good question, because I know in Norman, some units, like most that I know, have vice president, but then there are some that have president-elect. So those are good questions.
So that president-elect is automatically chosen, and then they will just do the president-elect.
So there's no process, if you elect a president-elect in year 1, there's no process involved with this that you have to officially nominate and then have a voice vote that president-elect.
Like to reconfirm them?
Is
No.
the president?
Now,
Is there
what
voting?
needs to happen in your standing rules is that should be stated in there, that your president-elect automatically becomes the president. Okay? And for good judgment, it would be really good and pretty wise just to have that vote on there, that they're voted in again, but you really don't have to have it voted in again, because that is their position, to take position of president. Yes?
And on the chairs, we've always just had the 4 officers, but
Okay.
I've wanted to like a membership chair and a reflection chair next year. Is that generally part of those elections, or
You can, if you want the membership to do it,
as
or
part of the board,
you can
or
have
is it
the
something
board.
different?
Okay, so if your membership, if you want it to be a part, it should be a part of your board, okay? So Oklahoma PTA, let's just say Oklahoma PTA. There are 10 officers, 10 executive board members, okay? That group gets together and picks all of the chairs, okay? The council presidents are automatically on there. So they pick the chairs and then present them. They're part of the bigger board, but they're not part of the executive board. So if you want them to be part of the executive board, that needs to be in your standing rules, that they are on the executive board, and then they will be voted on in as well. But if you don't want them to do that, then your board, it should state that in your standing rules, that your board, your executive board, chooses and votes on the chairs, the committee chairs. Okay? Okay. Important to know too, if how your board votes. Okay, I have been to Norman a few times and found it pretty interesting to know that some boards have 12 people, but only 6 votes. Does it make sense? Because they were selected as chairs, and chairs don't have voting rights. So, in your standing rules, that should be in your standing rule, that everybody that's on your board has a voting right.
I put in it this year that a membership, I added to the executive board a membership chair and a reflection chair, just because I thought moving forward that's something we wanted to do.
Absolutely.
But we don't have that presently, but I thought maybe
Good for you.
next year. Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Good, good, good. Everybody should have a membership chair. If I can't stress anything about membership, I want to stress it now. I'm going to get on my soapbox for 1 minute. Membership is the livelihood of PTA, okay? 75% of our dues pay for everything that we do, compared to that includes all of the programs that we have, and there are over 20 programs, and probably everybody has no idea that they even exist, okay? And our employees that we have. And we have a building in Alexandria, Virginia, the headquarters. That is where your membership dues go to. We're all volunteers. We don't get paid to do any of this. We have 32 employees that we pay for to keep this association running for 4.3 million members. That is where your membership dues goes to. Okay? And if our membership decreases, which it does, almost 1 million members a year, 4.3 million members, we are down 872,000 members this time from last year. Now, think about an association that has been around for 118 years, that has done some amazing things for children. And I can talk about that all day long, okay? But there are a few things that they have done that have huge significance. Kindergartens, immunization, free lunches, hot meals inside the school, polio vaccinations.
Look what we did this year with the testing. I mean,
Testing.
We're having, it's
And
happening
just
here.
this state that has done that.
That's awesome.
Awesome. There are some things that this association, nobody knows nothing about. Okay? It is all of you guys' job to make sure that everybody knows who we are, what we do, and why we're here. We're not here just to raise money and do a lot of fundraising. That is not what we are about. PTA wasn't founded on fundraising. It was founded on advocacy. It started on juvenile justice, having 4-year-olds not working minds. That's how we got started. It wasn't about how we can raise money to fill in the gap where our legislators are not putting the money. And that tends to happen in the majority of our schools because we don't have any money. And as a parent, we want to do the right thing to raise the money to help out the schools because our kids need it. But could you imagine if all of those parents that joined your PTAs, if you have 500, you have 500 parents that are members, and they contact their legislators to say, you know what, we voted you in and you need to do the right thing for our kids inside of our district, inside of our schools. By paying teachers more. By putting books and things that we need inside of our schools. Let's not talk about playground equipment. See, that's what you're here for. You're not here to ask parents for money, 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 money. And that is what people think we are. From 15 years ago until now, it has shifted unto, and you guys are the faces that need to help change that. Okay? It's very important that you understand that. And you want a membership and a reflections chair, that's awesome. Find somebody too that has a voice, that has no problem about speaking up, and have an advocacy chair. That's huge. That's huge. Okay? Good. Yes?
One last question.
Absolutely.
I'm personally pretty new to the whole PTA thing. I believe it's in the state bylaws, term limits. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Term limits. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. So you have 2 terms to be elected. If you're a president in the role, you get elected, and it's a 1-year role, you can get elected 2 times in that position. Does it make sense? Okay. So can I be the president in the position of president for 8 years?
No. Yes.
You would say no, but absolutely yes, because if you can't find anybody to fill that position, and you don't want that PTA to die out and move away, yes, you do. You know why? Because somebody has to be on that checking account.
So would that be against the bylaws then, if you did that?
No, it's not against
It's
the
not a
bylaws. You're not
violation.
going against it because it tells you if you can't find a replacement, you are
Okay,
there
that's
until
in
you
there.
find a
Okay.
replacement. Now, look at everybody's face.
Could you not also in the standing rules, I mean, hypothetically define a term as 4 years?
Well, yes, I guess you can.
And that's where everybody's how you're supposed to get.
Yes, yes, because that's confusing. Yeah, so terms, if you have a 1-year term, you serve twice. If you have a 2-year term, you serve twice. Okay, and I've seen some pretty smart people that get out president for 1 year and then run for another position for 1 year and run for another position for 1 year and then come back around to president for another year.
That's what I plan to do at Reagan.
Go ahead. My last year.
Okay? Any more
And
questions?
those are
That's a good
consecutive
question.
terms.
Consecutive.
So
Yes.
you can,
You can serve.
2 consecutive terms, take a year off, and then do 2 more.
Yeah, you can. But we don't want people to do that.
Well, of course not.
Yeah, but we do have people that do that because that PTA is theirs and they own it.
I will say, bringing in Carrie here, she was new this year, and she's done amazing work. And bringing in a new person was the best thing, you know, we did
They have new
this year.
eyes.
Yes.
They have new eyes, new ideas, and that is so inviting. Because when I met this young lady right here a couple of years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, it was just like a wind of fresh air. Because she was just she had no idea what PTA was. And then when she learned, she's taking off like a wildfire. You guys see, she's here with you guys. You see? Those are the people that you need. The ones that hardly know anything, could you imagine them just lighting up? Because I saw her when she lit up. She was like, what? Really? We did that? Did nobody say that? What? How long you guys been around? You've been around that long. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I'm right there. I'm right there.
Well, that's another reason why I love the council and why I thought it was so important to bring it back to Norman, because we can learn from each other. And I feel like we've been closed off for so long. You know, just tonight, it's so nice to hear what other people do. either to give you fresh ideas or to confirm what you think you're doing right. So that's one of the things that I love about having us back and reestablishing Norman, and I think we're only going to get stronger. Now, while membership numbers nationally may be down, they're up here in Norman.
Yes, they are, and I'm
very excited
very
about
proud about that. Congratulations to you guys. Okay, that is huge because you're one out of maybe 3 districts out of Oklahoma that has membership up.
What?
That's
right.
huge. That's huge. That's huge. And if I could give you guys $100 or $1 million, I absolutely would, because that is the livelihood of this association. Now, I have another question. How many of you know what the benefits of being a member of PTA?
Some national.
There's some national benefits. Do any of you know what they are? Okay.
I was entertained by the fact that AARP was one of them.
Yes. Now, isn't that smart? Because, you know, the majority of our members are older people that can actually use AARP.
I would think it'd be the other way around.
You would think.
I
but
like
it
the
isn't.
Teen Safe because, you know, every kid's got smartphones now. You get a discount on the Teen Safe monitoring program because you're a PTA member. As soon as I break down and get my kid a smartphone, you better know I'll be watching that stuff.
Right.
So, and I get a discount for it.
Hertz.
Did
Yeah,
they
I
do
use
the
it all the
discount
time.
for driver's ed? Because I know now they have to take a course for driver's ed. Like when I was in high school, you got it through high school, but now you have to take the course. So that would be nice at PTA. If you were a member, you got a discount on that.
Now, you know what would be really good? Because when you get the benefits like that, it comes from National PTA.
Yes.
Okay? So what could be really good is if you have a council that
Got
can
to
work
unveil.
on that.
We're going to
Propose the
unveil my
idea.
summer plans.
That could work and present it, and that would be a benefit of being a member of any of your Norman School PTSAs. That could be huge.
I'm working on that. She kind of sneak peeked what I've got going on. At the summer training in July, I'm going to have a whole list of discounts. So all you have to do is show your current PTA membership card here in Norman for local businesses. So we'll help the Norman community and also reward you for being involved. And that's something I want to leave with the council.
See? That is awesome. Good job. Okay, any more questions?
All right, well, let's give Anna a big round of applause. We'll let her get out of here.
Yes. I need that bowl so I can pick a number.
I need a bowl.
A bowl.
There, look, this is perfect.
No.
There's an actual fish bowl. You need some.
Are you a fishbowl on your counter?
Okay, all right, you ready?
Really?
The winning number is 497039. Now, you gave me one. If I end up winning my own drawing, I'm going to be very mad. I won my own drawing. Okay, let's try that again. God, why do you give me one? 497041.
That's me.
Oh, do you want to give it to our treasurer? Or should we let someone else get it?
No, that's fine. You can have the history book.
Okay,
Did you want the
I
history
will.
book?
All right.
Would you like to have the history book? Or would you
Yeah,
like
I
to
would.
pass it on? She will read it.
Well, there we
I
go.
need your name and your address.
Well, we're going to keep rolling. We've got a few announcements tonight that I'm really excited about. Ida, we're going to skip you real quick. Aisha's going to talk about some vice president report that she's got with some new information for you.
Okay, so we're talking about community partners, the big event. Every school's involved, right? You are? Because they're looking for school partners. So if your school hasn't already signed up, send us an email. We'll get you with the committee, and we'll get your community school activity or something.
Does everyone know what the big event is?
Remind me of what that sounds like.
Okay. The big event is where the University of Oklahoma, it's our giant day of service. I mean, thousands of student volunteers. It's a thing. Like student organizations, they make T-shirts for it. And they take local projects from, it goes all the way up to Edmond.
It goes all
But
across
Norman,
the state.
Oklahoma City, more Edmond, and it's been like, when I did it, I helped repaint a church. You know, we helped reestablish a garden at Washington. I actually helped with their outdoor classroom. And so what they need is projects from our schools. What work do you need done at your school? You know, and it could be something we work with principals on, but also with our PTAs. It could be a collaboration between you two. It could be reorganizing the library system. I mean, anything like that.
And they find that they match you with your project with the appropriate volunteers. So they have already about 500 volunteers signed up, and so they know their specific skill set, so the sooner you get the information to them. So if you send us that information, and actually I'll post it on our Facebook, their deadlines to get the application and everything in.
Do you know what that deadline is? So we can email it out to them.
I don't have it right now. She put it in the email. I know April 11th is the date
We've got
of
time.
service, so we have time, but it's coming close.
Okay.
I think
We'll
it's
email
sometime
that
in
too.
March,
Would
so
the
we
P-
will.
Would the PTA need to get them lunch? You know, a lot of times.
You can if you want to, but you don't have to provide it.
They're there to work with you. I know a lot of they provide water, some people provide lunch, some provide snacks, some,
It might depend on the
you know,
project
provide
you're on.
tools, but no, the whole purpose is they do have, if they are going out and traveling, the big event gives them, you know, gas money, gives them stuff together so they can, some of those students don't have everything,
And they
you
even
know.
provide the tools. Like OU provided the paintbrushes and everything. The school
And the
didn't have to
supplies, they
provide it.
partner with Lowe's and different companies to provide the tools. So again, they just need you to submit the application so they know what your needs are, what you can and cannot afford, and then they will get you the resources, the individuals, and what have you. And another thing is, we will be connecting with the chamber again. How many of you guys have or know who your business partner is in education? Some principals have it. Every school know who their business partners are? Okay, well, we'll connect again with the chamber and try to get a list out there so that you guys know who you can contact, because there's some, I know my business, we still haven't been matched with our school. So we're just gonna get with the chamber and just say, hey, can we just get that list once a year posted out, hopefully in August, but this year as well, so that you know who your business partner is and you can start connecting with them. And hopefully, not just in August, but each meeting and on Facebook, we'll try to have a few more community partnering tools and tidbits so that you can start leveraging those resources in the community for what they are, you know, what we have going on, like Homeland. How many of you guys already have your codes and everything signed up? Okay, good. Great, thank you all.
And that's a wonderful thing that Aisha's going to be doing in every program, to give you tips on how to get the most out of your community. So yet another reason to attend our council program. Matt, would you like to talk about the Google website?
Okay. See if we can bring it up here. How do I get rid of the
Escape.
PowerPoint?
Got it?
Hit it back again.
Went to law school.
Maybe I'm not the right person to be worrying about the website if I can't figure out the computer. I'm a Mac guy. All right, so this is what we're working on, a website for Norman PTA Council. It's still a work in progress. So we're
Look, there you are.
messing around with
See
lots
that,
of
Anna?
things.
There you go.
One of the cool things, one of the cool things that we've added here, this took an entire Saturday afternoon for me to figure it out, is that we put our Facebook and Twitter feeds on the front page, so that you don't actually have to be a member, have an account at Facebook or Twitter to see what's going on with Norman PTA Council. And if any of you are interested in setting up your Google site with that thing, I can help you with that. Don't ask me about PowerPoint though. Okay. We've put our Google Calendar up there, which right now has a few items in it from the different schools that have given us our schedule. I have manually typed those events into the Norman PTA Council calendar. Here's one of the things that we're asking to consider for next year, is that each school PTA has its own Google Calendar. You keep your events on your Google Calendar up to date. The Norman PTA Council calendar can subscribe to your Google Calendar, and then they will be on our calendar and they'll be on our website here. And then when something on your calendar changes, it automatically changes on our calendar, and we don't need to type in 3 or 4 different times the same.
Now, do you have to
change.
pay for a Google site and a Google Calendar and all that stuff?
No, all of that's free. We are working on, we did pay for the normanptacouncil.org domain, and I have still yet to figure out how to get, when you type in normanptacouncil.org, how to get it to point to this, but I'm working on that. We've got a page for all of you. Some of, let's see, some of them, Jackson's here. We've got Jackson's website pointed to. Ta-da! Now, how do I go back? There it is.
I think you just open a new box.
Yeah,
Just
it's
close
right
it out.
up there. Go back up there.
There you go.
I would open a new tab. Okay, there you go. What I would also like to do is take each of your Google calendars and link to them here. I would also like to suggest that if you're forming a, say, a Wilson PTA Google calendar, that's going to come with a Google Gmail account. And so we'll just put those right there, and you can use them. Google is very handy on smartphones and tablets and on computers as well. So that's my request for you is to consider for next year.
Can we get your email address so we can email you our information?
Sure. It's Matt Esker
He's
at
got
Gmail.
cards up there.
Yep, at gmail.com. I've got my cards over here.
Perfect.
Are you now suggesting that you're going to email me your calendar events so that I can manually type them in? Because that's not what I...
Because our website, I don't think, is activated on there, and we have a PTA website, so I'm
Okay,
pretty sure
yes.
you had that. Is it on there?
Yeah, it's underlined.
It's great.
Okay.
So then you can subscribe to our Google calendars. Just like
Right.
that. Yeah.
As long as you make them public, I can.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, and we have our Google Calendar,
And
we
I'm-
just need to share it.
I'm so excited for this option because it's a free website and Matt's, going from the ground up so we can help you build it. The calendars can all sync up. So let's say a parent moves to Norman, they type Norman PTA, hopefully they'll find Norman PTA Council, but then they can find your school and automatically contact with you. So I think it's a very helpful one-stop shop. We were trying something with the district, but we're PTA. And so I had no interest in having PTO on our PTA page. So we wanted to keep something that was just PTA, and Matt's done a wonderful job.
And so we're looking at a page for the business partners. We're working on getting logos and links up there for those. That's obviously coming. A page for resources, both local Norman resources, state resources, national resources. We'll link to all of the e-training that's available at the national website. Good stuff. I spent another Saturday afternoon figuring out what PTA was and how what the officers are supposed to. The funny thing was it was about a year ago, yeah, that I came to my first Norman PTA Council meeting just to see what was up and managed to get suckered into being the secretary.
Okay.
Yep, I'm here to help, whatever you need. And then we've got, this is pretty much the page that I've done the most with. We've got, there it is. So we're missing one headshot.
I just put anything up there.
Let's see, I plan on, I put in here pages for the 4 officers to have blog type posting capability so that if there's anything that just kind of strikes Bree's brain that she wants to post on the website, content like that. So we'll have pages dedicated to the programs like these meetings, where we can link to the YouTube video that's being recorded right now after it gets nice and polished and edited. So yeah, it's a fairly simple site. I haven't figured out all the ins and outs of web design yet. I'm still doing it in my spare time. So, but I'm certainly happy to help any of your PTAs who have questions about Google Sites and want to do something similar. I think a lot of the PTA sites that we're linked to up here are hosted on the school site itself. So that's a little easier to do because your school has committed to PTA. The district hasn't completely committed to PTA, so we went with an independent Google site for that.
Any questions about that? All right, well, Ida, will you give us a quick treasurer's report about where the council's at financially?
Yeah, now that we've got all the membership in, it's pretty slow, so we did not have any deposits this last month. But we did have an expense of totaling $36.37. So that leaves our balance as of right now $1,383.72.
All right. Well, and that leaves me with the announcements and business. The second page of your packet here is upcoming events. Norman North will be hosting the bond issue update with Norman Public Schools and Dr. Sayano. Still working out the date and time on that one. So far that's March. I'll get back to you on that. April, Monday, April 13th, Longfellow Middle School is hosting a panel of PTA and PTO, What's the Difference? I'm very excited about that. Back to March. Monday, March 30th is the OKED Rally at the Capitol. We are thrilled as Oklahoma PTA to be hosting that in association with OKED and all the other wonderful organizations that support education here in Oklahoma. I would love, love, love to have a delegation of Norman PTAs going. I have had 2 units confirm with me that they're going to come with me. 3. I want to know who from your PTA is going to come. I'm still working on getting t-shirts donated. It's in the afternoon, and we're just they kind of want us to come in waves, so there's not a parking issue, and so it's afternoon is all I've got for you right now. It's not an all-day thing. We could try and do an earlier one since we have kids that will get out of school. I totally get that. But I think we need to make our voices heard. You know, with the testing reform, we're already making a difference, and this is our year. And Norman is back, and I want everyone to know that. Yeah.
Are there key messages that are going to be passed along to us?
Yes.
What
There will be training for sure. The council on our Facebook page has changed our logo to the PTA. I can't even see what it says at the bottom. But we've already gotten information on our focus, and it's definitely focusing on reforming how we're doing our standardized testing along with increasing teacher pay. So it's a wide variety of issues that will just better education in the state of Oklahoma. And I'll make sure everyone's got information about that before we go to the Capitol and rally. And then May 5th is our general meeting. As you've noticed, the council has programs. They're informative on how to run your unit and good information for parents. But we also have to have business meetings. We have one in September where we approve our standing rules and our budget. And then we have one in May when we have our elections. Hi, Anna. Thank you so much. And so please be sure to attend that. And then finally, our tentative date, but it's pretty much set for our summer training, is the afternoon of Friday, July 24th. We will work to have some sort of childcare there if you need it. We're going to have individual training for the president position, the secretary position, the treasurer position, but also things on reflections. And also how to have a technology for PTA in the 21st century. We'll cover things like websites and Facebook and Twitter and Square, how to take credit cards for your PTA. It is, it's wonderful. So we'll talk a lot about that, and I hope you guys will all attend. So those are the upcoming events. I mentioned the OKED rally already and through the events, and the membership contest that we're having. Membership doesn't have to stop. I know our big pushes are back to school and enrollment confirmation. I know that. But it's not too late to involve a parent and to say, hey, you should look at all the stuff we're doing. You hear all this testing stuff? Come to a meeting. Let's talk more about it. And so to reward the unit that has the greatest growth in membership from January 31st to the last reported date on March 31st, the council will give you $100 to pay for one person's registration to the convention in Tulsa. Unfortunately, it is in Tulsa again. It'll be back in Norman next year, but that $100 to paying someone's registration will help defer the cost. So please consider it. It is ridiculous how much you learn at convention. I mean, there was a point where I was kind of burnt out from being president of a brand new PTA, and I was like, oh, this PTA thing. And then I went to convention, and it just, as she put it, relit the fire. I mean, it's amazing to be around so many motivated people who are making change for education in the state. And you find out the resources that we have. Poor Norman's been in its own little bubble for so long because we missed that council bridge, but it's back, and I would love for as many of us to go as possible. I think we had 2 units there. Yeah.
One of the things that we did in our local unit is we added that to our line item in our budget, so that way it's not a financial burden for somebody to represent our school.
And obviously it's cheaper when it's in Norman.
Right. But at least it helps to contribute and encourage them to do that.
There you go. And if you need ideas on how to increase membership this late in the game, different events you can have, just email the council. We've got some ideas. So, All right, well, we don't want to keep you guys much longer. If you haven't already liked the Facebook page or Twitter, please do. And we will adjourn, if there's no questions, at 7:45. Thank you guys for coming out.